on A League of Their Own. That's right. A League of Their Own. That's a chick flick movie. That's what I'm doing right now. I am world famous, as you know, because I watched every single episode of Sex and the City. I watched the movies and I watched that piece of shit show and just like crap. And I reviewed all that shit. It's on this YouTube channel if you want to watch. I reviewed every fucking episode. Every single one. I said I was going to do it and I'm going to do it. Now I'm going after your chick flicks. I'm going after your chick flicks now. They're not safe. Okay, I'm going to give you an honest straight man's point of view. That's the point of view you never got. Okay, when you watch this show with your girlfriends and your gay friends, okay, I'm going to give you the point of view that you didn't get, and I do not censor myself here, okay? So the real question you have to ask yourself is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? Because that's what I'm going to give you here, the truth, all right? So since I finished Sex and the City, I decided that I was going to start reviewing chick flicks. Okay, your favorite chick flicks out there. I've already reviewed the first one, which was Romeo and Juliet, because let's face it, that's ground zero. Okay, that's the fucking granddaddy of all chick flicks right there. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some other stuff. Okay, now, the thing about this series that I'm doing, Chic-Flick Destruction, is not all the movies that I am going to review are bad. Okay, some of them are actually very good, okay? And I'm going to mention that here as well, okay? If they really suck, I'm going to tell you. Now, obviously, I've not seen every chick flick out there, okay? But I'm going to have to start watching some that I've never seen before in order to give you an honest review, just because I know how popular they are in the whole lexicon of chick flickery, okay? You women have your fucking favorites out there. And let's face it, most of the straight guys, unless you made them watch it with you, they weren't fucking watching that shit, okay? Me personally, I like action movies, okay, but I stumbled upon a few chick flicks out there. Most of them sucked. Some of them were really good. Most of them were pieces of shit, all right? Now, the review I'm going to do today is going to be for League of Their Own. League of Their Own came out in 1992, okay? It starred Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Tom Hanks, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, John Lovitz. Okay, there's a lot of people in there, okay? And it was very popular amongst women. Now, I remember when it first came out in 92. I remember seeing a commercial for it when the Olympics were on. Yeah, I remember that, the Olympics. Okay, yeah, that was on around the same time. And I remember girls talking about it. Madonna obviously was a big star. Still is, okay, although she's not as talented anymore as she used to be. Okay, but she was a big star and she was trying to make it as an actress. And I think this was, well, she was in Dick Tracy 2 years earlier, okay? And she'd done Desperately Seeking Susan, which made her a movie star, but she never really did anything that was as good as that again, okay, until like Evita. And she basically sang her way through Evita, and that was in the late 90s, okay? She was never a great actress, okay, honestly. She really wasn't, okay? She's a better singer than she was an actress, okay? But she was definitely a pop star, the queen of pop, absolutely, okay? Every girl from my generation wanted to be Madonna when we were kids. Okay, the girls dressed like her. They sang her songs. They imitated her. If Madonna kept changing her look all the time. So if she became a brunette one day, all the girls copied the hairstyle. You know, it was like Madonna was a very big thing. For those of you kids out there, these Zoomers that are watching this, yeah, Madonna back in the day was actually something. Okay, not like what she is today, fucking singing stupid ass shit in her fucking bathroom during a fucking pandemic. No, none of that shit was going on back then. She was actually a role model. Unfortunately, she was a role model back in the day. Okay, back when I was a kid. Okay, women wanted to be her. Okay, she's a very talented woman. And, of course, the fact that she was in this movie brought a lot of attention into the movie. So you had Madonna, you had all the teenage girls there because Madonna was there. And then you had Gina Davis. Gina Davis was on a hot streak at this time. She had already starred in The Fly with her boyfriend, Jeff Goldblum. And then she dumped him because he was cheating on her. Okay, she had already been in Thelma and Louise, which is another movie I'm going to have to fucking do because you girls love that fucking shit. Okay, so she was already in Beetlejuice, so she was already a star. Okay, when she did this. Okay, so a lot of like just the casual middle-aged women, that are fans of hers went to the theater as well to go see this movie. And then you had some up-and-coming people, like Lori Petty, who was basically, she played like the pretty girl, although I never thought she was really that pretty. Okay, I remember she had been in Point Break. She played the love interest for Keanu Reeves in Point Break, like the year earlier. So that's where I knew her from. Okay, and of course she was also in an episode of fucking Nightmare on Elm Street, the TV show. Yeah, I watched that shit too, and I watched the Brad Pitt episode as well. Okay, so she was in that. All right, but she was an up and coming. She was trying to make a name for herself, and unfortunately, she never really did. A few years later, she did that abysmal Tank Girl, which is a movie. It's a comic book movie, but I never even saw it. Okay, but apparently she has sex with fucking with Ice-T in a kangaroo suit, and that fucking torpedoed her career right there. Okay, but Lori Petty, yeah, she was there. Okay, she played the sister. She played Gina Davis's sister. Tom Hanks, of course, was a big name as well. Still is, obviously. He was still going back and forth at this time in his career between his comedic roles. They're like, no, don't do the car. He was still doing that shit. And then he was doing his dramatic roles as well. Okay, where he would just like Philadelphia and stuff, where he played the gay guy dying from AIDS, suing his boss. So he was going back and forth at this time. Okay, but yeah, there's still a lot of him doing, not the car, there's no crying in baseball. He was still doing that shit, okay? His fucking sitcom shit that he did in Boo Some Buddies and Big and Punchline and fucking and Turner and Hooch, and all the fucking comedic shit that he'd been done before. He brought that to this, okay? Very little drama. There was some drama in there because he can carry that off, okay? But a lot of it was him yelling at the girls, all right? Okay? But he's a big name. He was a respected name. He brought in a lot of guys to watch this movie. Guys who would not be interested in a baseball movie about women, okay? And then, of course, he had Rosie O'Donnell. She was an up-and-coming actress at that time, although she was never really an actress. She was just fucking a loudmouth piece of shit, all right? Yelling all the fucking time, treating people like shit, using her fucking Staten Island accent, oh, yeah! She was just like fucking nasty as shit. She was basically just a loudmouth, always screaming. Basically, she was the white version of what's her name from fucking Ghostbusters? God, why can't I remember her name? But anyway, always yelling all the time. That was her whole fucking thing. And it still is, unfortunately. No wonder your fucking daughter hates you, Rosie. All right? So that was going on. Okay, and then you also had John Lovitz had a very small role in it, but we all know John Lovitz from Saturday Night Live. Obviously, he was in this movie because he's very good friends with Tom Hanks. Okay, they were in Big together, and they actually got along very well on Saturday. Whenever Tom Hanks would host Saturday Night Live, he would always request to do skits with John Lovitz because they were such good friends. Okay, so Tom Hanks took care of John Lovitz a lot in his career. He plays this asshole fucking baseball scout named Eddie Carbondano or some shit like that. And he's basically the one that shows up, treats everyone like shit, but he's got a heart of gold. He's actually basically an angel. He's the one that recruits these girls to play Major League Baseball for women, if you can believe it. Okay, yeah, and it really did happen. Okay. So overall, I love the cast. The cast was very well done. The movie was directed by Penny Marshall. Okay, yes, Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. She wasn't really acting anymore. She was directing movies. Now, she directed Tom Hanks before in Big. Okay, so she was already established herself as a name, as a well-respected director. She used to be married to Rob Reiner, who was another respected director, and he was fucking Meathead from All in the Family, okay? He was Michael Stivic from All in the Family, okay? Yeah, okay. They had been married. Now, Penny Marshall was already a mom when she met Rob Reiner and married him. She already had a little girl, I guess from her first husband. Okay, and that little girl grew up and became an actress herself. And by actress, she starred in 30 movies, and 15 of them were created or directed by her uncle or her dad, her stepdad, or her mom. Okay, so that's the kind of actress she is, and she's in this movie too. Okay, I can't remember her name, but she actually took her stepdad's last name, Reiner, and she plays Betty Spaghetti. Okay, so when you watch Betty Spaghetti in this movie, that is the stepdaughter of Rob Reiner. Okay, who's also friends with Tom Hanks. He directed him and starred in Sleepless in Seattle. Okay, and that is the biological daughter of Penny Marshall. Okay, who is Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. All right, yes. So a lot of this goes way back. Gary Marshall was Penny Marshall's brother, and he wrote for the Lucy on the Lucy Show. He wrote for Dick Van Dyke. Okay, he worked with Rob Reiner's dad, Carl Reiner, on Dick Van Dyke. Okay, he also created Happy Days, you know, Fonzie and all that shit. Okay, which was spin-off of Happy Days was what? Laverne and Shirley, of course. That put his sister in a fucking sitcom, to star in a sitcom. Okay, and he also did Mork and Mindy with Robin Williams. So all these people know each other. Okay, so that's how Hollywood is. It's not who you blow, it's who you know. Okay, so basically, there's a lot of nepotism in this movie. Okay, obviously, Penny Marshall directed it. She gave her brother a role in the movie. He plays this guy named Harvey, who's like the chocolate king of America. Okay, and he's the one that decides to create the female baseball league. Okay, all right. So that's all going on here. Very, very well casted people. There's even a character named Shirley Baker, who can't read, and I felt really sorry for her character because she was illiterate. But you got to remember, this was the mid 1940s, okay? And she's played by John Cusack and Joan Cusack's sister, Ann Cusack. Yeah, you didn't know about her, did you? I thought I knew about the Cusacks because they're from Chicago, like me. But yeah, apparently they have a sister that I never heard about that was in this movie. Okay, so all that's going on here. It's a very well cast. Okay, and when it comes to marketing the movie, this is how you do it. You put some big names in there. You get actors from different genres to show up in there, and then you do the supporting roles with talented actors that are trying to make it big. And that's what was going on here. Okay, so it was a very well casted movie, very well directed. I think Penny Marshall directed some very good movies here. I remember she directed Doc Hollywood, I think, too. Okay, which was a piece of shit. So she didn't direct everything good. Okay, but I did like Big. I thought Big was a great movie. And I like this movie. I like The League of Their Own. This movie's gonna get a pass. But let's talk about the movie. So basically, this movie it deals with a true story. It's based on a true story, but it's not actually true. Now, for those of you out there, yes, I am aware that on Netflix, or is it Amazon Prime? I don't know. There is a TV show called The League of Their Own, which is based on this, okay? I have not watched it. I am probably not going to watch it unless you make me watch it, okay? But I did see the poster, okay, for this fucking TV show, and it shows two women, okay? A white woman in the back and a black woman in the front, and they're both in baseball uniforms, okay? Fuck that noise. I do not need to fucking watch this show to know what message is being pushed here, okay? In real life, okay, the 1940s was extremely racist, okay? And even though this was a female league, baseball league, they did not allow black women to play. Okay, there's like a 1 minute clip in the movie that shows a black woman pick up a ball and throw it back at fucking Gina Davis, and Gina Davis realizes that this girl can throw, and the girl's all ignorant like that. It's okay, and that's the extent of it. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but this did not happen in 2022. Okay, this happened. There was a female league of black players. Okay, but this movie does not talk about them. I don't know if the TV show talks about them. Like I said, I'm never going to watch it. Okay, but if the League of Their Own TV show is about the black women that were in the team, along with the white lesbians that were on the team, okay, this is just fucking a bunch of identity politics bullshit, okay? And this is rewriting history. This movie also rewrites history, but not that much. The characters that are in there are fictional, okay, but they are based on a real team. They are based on real events that were going on. So the individual characters are not real, okay, but the circumstances behind the story were real. Okay, that's what I'm saying, okay? They didn't fucking throw a black woman in this movie just to show everyone that they're not racist. Okay, they didn't do that. There were no black women allowed to play baseball with the white girls back then, okay? But like I said, this movie is based on a true story, okay? Now, what happened, it shows it in the movie, is when World War II broke out, a lot of the people that were of age, you were drafted. Yes, there was a time, kids out there, when your country went to war, you were forced to join the military if you were a man. If you were 18 or older, you were forced to join the military. It was not an option. Okay? They drafted you. You had to go or you're going to jail. Okay? So the men, including movie stars and professional athletes, they were of age. They had to enlist. Okay? Unless you got exempted. Okay? Like if there was something wrong with you, then you couldn't enlist and you got to stay home. Okay? You didn't have to go fight. But if you were healthy and you were young and you were of the age, you had to go fight. It was not an option. Okay? So, of course, this damaged baseball because baseball was all about young men playing baseball. Okay, how are you going to fucking sell tickets when all the men are fighting the war? Okay, it's very hard to play baseball, okay? So what they decided to do was they decided to create a female league. Okay, this female league was created in 1943. All right, baseball did not shut down. They just switched it over to female players. So from 1943 to 1954, there was a female professional baseball league. And that is what this movie talks about. Okay. It actually started off with just 4 teams. There were the Racine Bells. Okay. There were the Kenosha Comets, the South Bend Blue Sox, and there was the team that this movie is about, which was the Rockford Peaches, okay? And that is the team that this movie is about. The characters are from the Rockford Peaches, okay? Other teams did join later on, okay? Now, the stuff that they show you in the movie, that the women were forced to go to charm school, they were forced to wear long hair, that was all true. They could not wear pants like the boys. They had to wear skirts. You know, they had to wear makeup. Okay, that was all true. Okay, that stuff really did happen. Okay, they had to wear lipstick at all times. Okay, their hair had to be worn long. Okay, like I said, they couldn't wear pants. Okay, and they did change the size of the baseball diamond. Like I played baseball when I was a kid. Okay, and you had standards on the length of the diamond. Okay, and how far the field was. All right, well they reduced those standards for the women. Okay. They really didn't want them to play men's baseball. They wanted to play women's baseball. Now, something they did get wrong in the movie, okay, because I did do some research on this, okay. You see the women they're not actually playing baseball in this movie. They're playing softball, okay, which means they threw it underhand, okay. And actually, later on they play baseball when they throw it overhand. But in the beginning of the movie, when they're trying out, okay, when they're doing their tryouts and they're practicing, they're throwing it underhand. That's softball. Softball is underhand. Baseball is overhand. Okay, so they actually showed the girls doing it underhand, and that didn't come around until several years later. And then that was a different sport, softball. Okay, which is what women play today. Okay, now there were 12. Like I said, the female baseball league existed for 12 years. Okay, the most famous. The most successful team in this league was the Rockford Peaches. Okay, they were the most famous, the most successful out of all the female baseball teams. They won 4 pennants. Okay, in real life. Okay, and the Racine Bells won 2. Okay. Now, in one scene, they showed a black girl. They showed a black person sitting in the stands. Okay, they were sitting in the audience watching the game. That was actually not realistic. That was actually not true. Okay, in real life, black people were not allowed in the stadiums to watch these games. Okay, they were not allowed to watch baseball with the white customers. Okay, the white patrons. Okay, that did not happen. Okay. During the Second World War, blacks were not allowed to sit with white people. Okay, in the stands. So that part was fake. Okay. Now this movie focuses on the 1943 season. Okay, of the Rockford Peaches, okay? Okay, in which all the pitching was underarm, okay? Sorry, I got that wrong. All the pitching was actually underarm, okay, in real life back in 1943. They threw it like softball-wise, okay? Overarm pitching, the way you see it later on in the movie, like during the World Series or whatever, okay? That didn't come until the late 40s. So it was another fucking 6 years, 5 or 6 years before women started pitching it underarm. That was overarm. Okay, so that part was actually fake. I got that part wrong. Sorry. Okay, yes, and Rosie O'Donnell was in this piece of shit. Okay, now the character I mentioned earlier, the character of Betty Spaghetti. Okay, now that's the girl who, when Tom Hanks gets that message from the UPS guy, he gives a letter to her. Okay, Betty Spaghetti. Betty Spaghetti was played by Tracy Reiner, who I mentioned earlier. That is the daughter of Penny Marshall. Okay, and Rob Reiner's adopted daughter. He adopted her after he married her mom. Okay, and she took his name, not her dad's last name. Okay, and they have helped her out ever since at getting acting roles. Okay, and the reason she's in this movie is because her mom directed it. Okay, she has starred in several movies. I think 30 movies she starred in. Okay, and all of those movies, 15 of those movies either had her uncle Gary Marshall, who created Happy Days, her mom Penny Marshall, who played Laverne and directed this movie, or her stepdad Rob Reiner, who directed Sleepless in Seattle and was on All in the Family. Okay, so yeah, like I said, a lot of nepotism going on here. Okay, so yeah, it helps to have fucking people in the industry to be your family members. Okay. Between 1984 and 2004, Tracy Reiner appeared in 30 films. Yeah, like I said, 15 of which were directed by them. Yeah. Okay. Now, one of the girls that I did notice when I was watching this movie. I don't think she had a speaking role in there, but I recognized her face. She wasn't one of the Peaches. I think she played for the Racine Bells. That's the team they play against at the end of the movie. Okay, it was Tia Leone. I recognized her, and I've seen her before. Okay, I saw her in a movie called Switched. Okay, which was about a guy who dies. He gets murdered by his lovers. His girlfriends murder him because he was cheating on all of them. And then he comes back to life as a woman. Yeah, so he's a man stuck in a woman's body. I know that movie lost money. Nobody went to go see it. But I love that movie. I still love that movie. Okay, and I remember her in that. She had a small role in that. And I think she had a small role in Bugsy, too, with Warren Beatty. But yeah, it was Tia Leone was in this movie, okay? And you remember her right now. She was on the TV show called Madam Secretary, okay? She was married to David Duchovny from The X-Files for a long time, okay? But then she caught him cheating on her again for like the 17th time, and then she finally divorced his ass, okay? She was in Jurassic Park 3. You've seen her before. She's been in a lot. She was on a sitcom in the 90s called The Naked Truth, okay? So you've seen her before, man. I've always thought she was a pretty girl. I remember she was in Deep Impact, that ripoff of fucking Armageddon from the late 90s. So, and she was in this. She had no speaking role, but I recognized her face. I always thought she was pretty. And she shows up in this, pitching and shit. All right. I think this is actually one of her first movie roles, Tia Leone, okay? And she plays for the Racine Bells. Okay, now, Rosie O'Donnell, as we all know now that she's a fucking lesbo as fuck, not only is she, what's worse than that is that she's ugly too, okay? That's the real problem, okay? But she's ugly and annoying, and there's just absolutely nothing attractive about her at all, okay? Now, on her TV show, which unfortunately I watched a few episodes of it, okay, on her TV, she used to have a talk show back in the day, yeah. She would always talk about Tom Cruise and how she's got the hots for Tom Cruise. Well, I did not believe that then. I still don't fucking believe it, okay? Rosie O'Donnell is a butch fucking dyke. I never thought she was straight, ever, okay? She's just another man-hating fucking lesbian who feels entitled and hates the whole fucking world because she's not fucking pretty, okay? And she's never changed her shtick. She's always been that, okay? Now, back then in 1992, she had not come out yet, okay? So people that knew her knew she was a lesbian, but the general public did not know she was lesbian. Everyone thought she was straight except for me. I knew the truth, all right? She hadn't come out yet, okay? But everyone that was working on this movie already knew it, okay? She didn't come out for another 10 years in 2002, okay? And the only reason she came out was because of fucking, they were trying to change the laws about gay marriage and shit. That's when she came out, all right? Because also they wouldn't let gay couples adopt kids in Florida. So she protested that by announcing that she was gay, okay? She did get married to a woman in 2004, Kelly Carpenter from San Francisco. Yeah, where else would she be from, right? Okay, and she did that 2 weeks after the mayor of San Francisco allowed gay marriage in San Francisco, okay? The union, however, was later declared null and void by the California Supreme Court. Okay, they reversed the decision of the city and made it illegal again. Now it is legal, of course. Things have changed since then, but that's when she came out. It was when all this controversy was going on. Me personally, hey, I don't give a shit. Okay, if it's Adam and Eve or Adam and Steve. Okay, if you love each other and you want to get married and you want to fucking do that shit, you have every right to. I don't give a fuck what your sexuality is. Okay. As long as it's consenting adults, who gives a fuck? All right? You have the right to marry whoever the fuck you want, okay? Marriage ain't all it's cracked up to be. Okay, I'll tell you that. All right? But if you want to go through that, put yourself through that and your partner through that, by all means, yeah, you should have every right to do so. Doesn't fucking matter whether it's two guys or two girls or whatever, okay? As long as it's fucking consenting adults. That's how I feel about it, okay? So that's going on here, blah, blah. Obviously, Rosie O'Donnell hated George Bush. Okay, she called him, she compared him to Adolf Hitler and Hermann Göring. Yeah, right, the fucking Nazis. Okay, of course, whatever. Okay. Now here's something you probably did not know when they were making this movie. Okay, they didn't pay the extras that you saw in the stands back there and the stands that were watching the games. They were not paid. Okay, they just showed up because they wanted to be in the movie, okay? And they knew Madonna was going to be there, so that attracted a lot of attention, okay? So during the downtime, of filming, the actors would entertain these people. Yeah, how cool is that, huh? While you're just sitting around waiting for the lighting or waiting for the camera to get set up, the actors would sit there and entertain all these people that weren't getting paid to be in this movie, I thought that was pretty cool. Rosie O'Donnell, she did some of her fucking non-comedy stand-up comedy, basically screaming and yelling, okay, about men. Tom Hanks actually did a puppet show for the audience in attendance. Okay, and a lot of the actors that were there, a lot of the girls that were there were doing Madonna impersonations. Okay, who could do the best Madonna impersonation in front of the real Madonna? Okay, now here's something that pissed off everybody that you probably did not know about. Okay, of course, they asked Madonna to entertain the people as well, and she basically told everyone, "I don't entertain for free." Okay, and yeah, she actually said that. She said, "I do not entertain for free." And so let's just say that the cast and crew didn't really want to be around Madonna very much after that happened. Okay? And now apparently Madonna actually is a very smart woman. Okay? She's very successful. One of the most successful, if not the most successful woman, okay, in music history. Okay, apparently she has an IQ of 140, so she's a fucking genius. Okay, she knows her shit. Okay, I have a lot of respect for Madonna artistically. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with Madonna. I absolutely hate Madonna personally. I think she's a piece of shit. I think she's a horrible role model for women. Always has been. I think she's a selfish, a narcissistic fucking slut who just fucks around. She's a piece of shit fucking parent. Okay, she doesn't take care of her fucking kids. She puts her career first. All she cares about is how famous she is and people loving her. Okay, she's addicted to her own fucking fame. She thinks she can fucking walk on water. Okay, she tells women just fuck everyone you want to, and eventually the right man will come around. Bull fucking shit. It's not how it fucking works. But Madonna said it, so it must be true. Okay, she really believes that she's the second coming. Okay. Especially in her heyday, during this time, she was very famous during this time. You know, she wasn't some fucking weirdo like she is today, okay, with all the fucking plastic surgery and shit that she's got going on, singing in her fucking bathroom. No, she was actually a respected artist back in the day, and she was a role model for a lot of girls, okay? But I've always thought she was a piece of shit. Personally, I always fucking hated her. Okay, I fucking hated her. I hated everything that she stood for. I hated her fucking attitude. I hated her fucking narcissism. Okay, and how she thought she was fucking, everything in the world. Okay, it was Madonna. Okay, I always fucking hated that about her. Okay, so I hate her as a person. Okay, or maybe hate's a strong word. I don't like her as a person. Having said all that, I think she's one of the greatest singers that I've ever listened to. I think she's a fucking, she is a fucking musical genius. Okay, her voice is fucking like listening to angels. It really is. Take a Vow. Oh my God, dude. Some of the songs that she sang, they were actually very, very good. Open Your Heart is a wonderful fucking song. Papa Don't Preach is an excellent fucking song. You know, Lucky Star, Just Like a Prayer, Cherish. These are all wonderful, great fucking songs. Ray of Light even, I mean, she is an extremely talented fucking singer, I Will Remember You. I mean, she's so many fucking great songs. Her voice is fucking incredible. And I could listen to her all day. She is that fucking talented, okay? It just sucks that so much fucking beautiful songs can come from a woman that's such a piece of shit. It really fucking bothers me. It's the same way I feel about Stephen King, okay? He's my favorite author. I've read so many of his books. Some of the best books I've ever read were written by Stephen King. It, The Stand. I mean, this guy, Creepshow. I mean, Stephen King was my favorite author in the world, okay? But as a person, as a human being, he's a piece of shit, okay? His politics fucking suck. He fucking sucks. Okay, he's a fucking racist. He's a narcissist. He thinks he's the whole world. Fuck you. As a person, he sucks. But his stories are fucking some of the best stories I've ever read in my entire fucking life. Okay, I know it's weird, isn't it, huh? But it's true. Some people, they just don't meet your expectations. That's why I always say never meet your heroes. Okay, never meet your heroes. Okay. I know because I idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger growing up, and until I met him. And then I realized what an asshole he was. And this is before the scandal. This is before the fucking, he fucked the maid and had a fucking bastard. Okay? No, this is before that. Okay? I met him and he was a fucking asshole. So yeah. Don't ever meet your heroes. Okay? But yeah. Okay. But yeah, so apparently she's pretty fucking good. Okay? So yeah, so all that stuff really did happen. Okay? I enjoyed the story. It's kind of it's a fish out of water story. You got these two farm girls. Okay, they know how to milk cows and shit. Lori Petty's character, Kit, she's jealous of her sister. Okay, because her sister is so talented with baseball. Everyone notices it. They're in the female minor leagues, and everybody notices it. Everybody notices how good Gina Davis's character is, Dottie. How good Dottie is, but Kit is not as talented. Okay, and Dottie gets all the praise, and that makes Kit jealous. Dottie's prettier than her. Dottie's a better player than her. Dottie's everything better than her. So there's a lot of that fucking Marsha from the Brady Bunch going on here. Okay, and then John Lovitz's character, he's the scout. He actually wants Dottie. He wants Gina Davis. He doesn't want fucking a Lori Petty, but she won't go without her sister, so they take her. Okay, and then we meet another character named Marla Hooch, who's this ugly, unattractive girl, but goddamn it, the bitch can fucking hit like Babe Ruth. She can hit a ball like Babe Ruth, okay? And it's because her dad raised her on a fucking farm. His wife died, her mother died when she was young, so he raised her by himself. He raised her like a boy. He didn't know any better. I understand that, I mean, I'm raising my son by myself as well, so I understand what that's like to be a single parent. And he did the best he could. He didn't know how to raise her to be a woman. It's not her fault. She doesn't know anything about makeup or dresses, or she acts like a boy, because she doesn't know how else to act, But there's a very, very heartfelt scene that I really loved in this movie is when she's saying goodbye to her dad. She's like, how am I going to leave you? Like, who's going to take care of you? He's like, don't worry about me. You're going out there and play baseball. Okay, you got to go somewhere where things happen, and that's so fucking true. I mean, even me, growing up in the suburbs, I knew that I had to get out of the fucking suburbs if I was ever going to do anything with my life, and it's so fucking true. You got to leave the nest sometime. You got to go, and I thought it was very well directed scene. Like Penny Marshall did a great job directing this. She really knew how to pull the emotions out of the characters. Okay, so that happens. They get down there. We get to meet the other players. Gina, like I said, Dottie is actually a lot better than we thought she was. In one scene, Rosie O'Donnell throws a baseball at her, and she just fucking catches it with her bare hand. You know how fucking hard, I played baseball. You know how hard that is to do? That shit fucking hurts. And she grabbed it without even flinching. I know it's a movie and it's fake, okay, but, that says something about her character. This woman can take pain, okay? She can tolerate pain. Okay, she's not afraid of the fucking baseball. Okay, and then later on, of course, we see her catch a foul ball. Okay, she fucking does it by doing the fucking splits, which you could tell was a body double. It wasn't actually her that did it, but once again, showing off her athletic prowess. That fucking Dottie Hinson is no joke, okay? Now, the whole movie's done as a flashback, okay? The movie actually begins in the modern era. Maybe not the 90s, but probably in the 80s. Maybe the late 80s. Although it might have been 91 or something. Okay, and the actress is Lynn Cartwright. Lynn Cartwright did a bunch of B movies back in the 50s and stuff. And she plays the older Dottie Hinson, Gina Davis's character. And she actually looks a lot like Gina Davis. Now, something I did notice that maybe you noticed it when you watched the movie is when the old Dottie Hinson talks, like I said, Lynn Cartwright, when Lynn Cartwright playing Gina Davis's character, when she talks, her voice is Gina Davis. It's so fucking obvious they dubbed Gina Davis's voice onto the old Dottie Hinson. Okay, so even though it's Lynn Cartwright talking, her lips are moving. It's Gina Davis's voice that's coming out, and I thought that was a little distracting. Like, oh, wait a minute, no, that's not Lynn Cartwright. That's Gina Davis talking. Okay. But Gina Davis got that deep voice, so she can pull it off. That older voice, I can see it. And she does look a lot like Gina Davis. She really does look a lot like Gina Davis. Okay. And she's remembering everything, how they all met, And then we're introduced to Tom Hanks. He's a washed up baseball player. He's an alcoholic. So that's why he lost his contract in baseball. He's begging to play baseball again. And the owner, Harvey, does not want, Gary Marshall's character, Penny Marshall's brother, plays this guy named Harvey. Who's the owner of all this shit. He says, I'm going to give you a job as a fucking manager for the fucking female baseball league. You don't have to do shit. You can keep getting drunk if you want. I'm doing this because I owed you a favor. Okay? Because once in the World Series, you hit 58 fucking, you hit 58 runs in one game or some shit like that. So he's a washed up drunk named Jimmy Dugan. Okay? But he gives him his job as a coach. Just to give him something to do so he's not unemployed. Okay, he can't go to the war because he injured his leg being drunk. It wasn't from the game. It was from being drunk. I guess he hurt himself somehow. Okay, and now he walks with a limp. Now he can't play baseball again because he walks with a limp. And he does that throughout the entire movie. He's walking with a limp. And because of that, he's drinking himself to death. He doesn't really have to manage anything. All he has to do is fucking come out there, announce himself, wave to the cameras, and go back in and get drunk some more. Okay, so he realizes it's a bullshit job. And you can tell that, that's what he is. He's a bullshit player now. And he got given a bullshit job. He doesn't like it. He doesn't take it seriously. He thinks that it's a PR stunt, which I guess in a lot of ways it was. You had to do something to keep baseball going because all the men were out fighting in World War II. Okay, so he takes the job. He endears himself to no one. He pisses in front of all of them. They're all disgusted by him. He doesn't coach anything. Gina Davis, Dottie ends up fucking coaching all the girls, making up the signals, she does everything because she's that fucking good. All right. And she is, I can see why the characters wanted her so much. Okay. It's because she really is she's the bomb. Okay. She's the best fucking female baseball player. Okay. In this whole fucking movie. All right. And even the other players, the other attitude bitches, even they acknowledge it. Okay. Now there's a subplot here with one of the players. She has a little boy. I can't remember the little boy's name, but he's running around. He's a fat little fuck. Running around with fucking chocolate all over his fucking face. He's annoying everybody. They're all fucking disgusted. At one point on the bus driver quits because this boy fucking blinded him while he was driving the bus. Okay, at one point Madonna grabs a baseball bat. I'm going to kill your fucking kid and chases him around, It's funny. I played on a team, so I know the dynamics of being with a team, how you're always talking shit to each other, I know that. So a lot of that is the same. The same stuff these women were doing, the same thing that us guys do when we're playing on a fucking team. Okay, like when I was in the Marines and stuff, we talk shit, we're all together, it's a fun time. There's a point where they sneak out, okay? They get I guess they get their head mistress, their chaperone. They get her fucking sick, so they sneak out and go partying with a bunch of guys at some fucking bar, and they're doing swing dancing, which is something I love to do. And of course, who's the best dancer there? It's Madonna, okay? And the guy she's dancing with. Now, it's obvious that this shit was all choreographed, okay? No one does this impromptu, okay? This shit was all fucking choreographed, right? But it was pleasant to look at, watching the girls out there trying to get laid, and the guys are all fucking dancing like professional dancers, And this guy, they got drunk, so it's a moment of levity, okay, in this story, okay. And I like the part where Marla fucking gets shit faced and she's singing "It Had to Be You," which is from Casablanca, okay, which was a popular movie around that time, okay. And she's singing to some nerdy guy, Rosie O'Donnell even gets these two nerdy guys to fall in love with her, and they chase her around. They go to all of her games throughout the rest of the movie. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell, yeah, okay. So that's going on. Even Lori Petty, even Kit gets a fucking kiss with some guy, and they go back. So basically, Gina Davis is like the hen mother, taking care of all the girls, making sure they're all safe, making sure they get back on time, make sure they don't fuck up, So she takes on that motherly role. They're all basically her little sisters now, and she takes care of them. Eventually, Tom Hanks' character, Jimmy Dugan, he eventually snaps out of it and realizes that some of these girls, I think it's when he notices how good fucking Dottie is, that he starts taking his job seriously. Like, okay, maybe I need to start fucking teaching these people something, okay? But he's a man. He knows how men teach each other. He doesn't know how to teach women, okay? You can't talk to women the same way you talk to men. There's one scene where he reprimands a girl for doing, he's like, "There's no crying in baseball!" And she starts crying on it, and he fucking tells her the truth. He's like, "Listen, okay, my parents came to watch me on opening day, and the commissioner called me a fucking piece of shit in front of my fucking parents, okay? And did I cry? No. You know why? Because there's no fucking crying in baseball." And it's fucking true. It's fucking true. Having said that, he's basically talking to her the way you would talk to a guy who fucked up as well, and she can't handle it. Unfortunately, most of you girls can't handle it. Okay, that's why men talk to women differently. Okay, you keep talking about equality. How can it be equality? If I yell at a guy, he ain't gonna fucking cry on me. But if I yell at a girl, you see what I mean? Okay, it's different. Trust me, I know it's fucking different. Okay, I used to manage a nightclub with exclusive nothing but fucking female employees. And I know you cannot talk to women the way you talk to men. Okay, but at this channel, I talk to you the way we talk to men. Okay, can you handle it? All right, so there's that, which is pretty good. They end up having some drama between Dottie Hinson and her sister Kit. She gets transferred off the team because, let's face it, Dottie's the best. Okay,